Now it's time for another Board Game Brawl preview with Nick Meanahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com.
Hey peeps, today we're going to take a look at a game that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That game is called The Football Game, and it's from the London Board Games Company. Now, if you like what you see throughout the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page. There will be a link up in the top corner of your screen, as well as down in the description section underneath this video. Those links will take you to the page. You can find out more information than I could possibly tell you here in this short video, and hopefully you'll consider backing the project. Now, The Football Game, and let me clarify this right now for other Americans who are watching, this is football as the rest of the world knows it, which is what we would call soccer. But from here on out, I'm going to call it football because that's what the rest of the world knows it as. The football game has you and the other players taking control of owners of a football team, where you are actually hiring a manager who hires a bunch of footballers, players, and has them compete. Now, you're not actually simulating an individual soccer match in this game. Rather, you are fielding teams and watching how they progress over a series of rounds, simulating an entire season up until the final end of the game, where someone is going to be awarded the championship cup, or whatever football has. And it is a small cup in this game. But basically, you're rising through the ranks. You're playing tactics cards in order to influence yourself, your own team, and the other players. You're firing players, firing managers, bringing on new players and managers, all of these different things that actually would happen with a football club in real life. That's another thing. I think it's football clubs. If I call it teams, I apologize. I think club is the more appropriate word. But in any event, let me go ahead and give you a brief look at how the game is played with a prototype version of the game. So a lot of what you see here may be in the final version, but some of it may not be in the final version. So please keep that in mind. Some small things might change here and there. But in any event, we're going to come back and then we'll discuss it further.
The Football Game is a competitive game for 2 to 4 players. Each player is the owner of a football/soccer team, from here on out called a football team, and will recruit and utilize managers and players who will bring home a championship. The game takes place over the course of 6 rounds, with scoring taking place after rounds 2, 4, and 6. Whoever has the most victory points at the end is the winner. A main scoreboard is placed in the center of the table, with a round track and a results table. Every player has a club marker that starts in the mid-table position. Every player also gets a club mat that will be populated with your organizational stuff. Each player will be dealt 2 managers and choose one. These cards will tell you how many millions of dollars you start off with and how many tactics cards you start with, as well as a powerful special ability. Tactics cards can be used during the game to affect the game. Some just have special effects that help you, while others specifically target and inhibit your opponents. Every player also gets 7 footballers and chooses 4 of them for their lineup and 3 to sit on the bench. Every spot in the lineup must be filled. Add up the ability scores of all your footballers, and that determines your club's class. This will affect your scoring. A weaker club will gain more points for doing well, while a stronger team won't rise as fast because they're expected to do well. Finally, a transfer market of 5 random footballers is created in the general play area. Every player's turn in the game is split into 2 phases, pre-match and then match day. Much of the pre-match is only for the current player, called the phasing player. If footballers became unavailable before, they're now benched. If they have injuries, roll the injury die, and if it comes up as equal to or greater than the injury's severity, the injury is discarded and the footballer is now available to use again. But otherwise, a clip is added to the footballer, and every clip adds +1 to future rolls, which is of course bad. Optionally, a phasing player may also buy or sell footballers or scout the lineup by paying $1 million to wipe out and replace all the cards. You can even sack your manager and get a new one. While this is going on, all players may take this time to rearrange their teams. When everyone is ready, in turn order, players will set their first team, and then everyone, again in turn order, can play tactics cards that are applicable. Finally, it's match day. The phasing player takes the 2 match dice and EIK die and rolls them together, resolving the match dice first. Players on your team that match the color on either of the dice will score, and can even score double points if both dice match that color. Scoring in this case means that the matching football player can add their ability score to your total match score for the round, which determines how far you move on the results table. Depending on the total score, you'll move up or down one or more rows or stay in place. You need to move up the table if you have any hope of winning the total game, but staying at the top is difficult. When you're in the top 3 rows, you must treat your score results as one category worse than they would normally be. And it's the opposite if you're at the bottom, because no one expects you to do well at the bottom, so when you do, it's notable. Next, the EIK die is resolved, which stands for events, injuries, and knocks. The event face forces you to draw and resolve one of the event cards. The number on the die applies if a specific footballer on a team is affected. The injury face, of course, gives the affected footballer a random injury card and moves them to your injured area. Finally, the knock face will make a footballer unavailable and move them to that zone. Once everyone has had a turn as the phasing player, the round is over. After round 3, a half-season break occurs where players can get more tactics and millions and the transfer market is reset. At the end of rounds 2, 4, and 6, scoring takes place. Compare your position on the results table to your club's class ranking, and then take the appropriate number of point markers. After the 6th round, whoever has the most victory points is the winner and gets the trophy.
Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm not a big sports fan in general, and especially I don't know a lot about football as the rest of the world knows it. And therefore, actually, it's pretty striking how I really didn't need to know that much in order to play the football game. Because basically, like I said in the beginning, this is not simulating a football match. Rather, it's simulating an entire season as what the owner would have to do with his or her decision making and trying to get your team through the ranks. And so in that regard, I didn't need to know anything. It was very accessible to me. But I have a very, very strong feeling that if you did know a lot about football, if you are a hardcore fan and really, maybe there probably is fantasy football, fantasy soccer that people play around the world, and in that case, you would definitely find something of interest here, because that's essentially what you're doing. You're building a team and seeing how well they do over a long period of time, being worried about their stats, which in this case is matching the colors with the die. And so, if you look at the game, if you just look at like a broad overview of it, it looks like, whoa, there's a lot of details and kind of overwhelming things going on there, but it's really not. At its core, this is a simple game with a lot of decision making to be had. And so therefore, you can actually, once you get through the setup, it's actually very simple and easy to get it up and running and to teach the game. But the devil's in the details, and there's just a lot of decisions you have to make that are critical to making sure you last in the long term. And I thought it was very interesting, and this would be another thing that's sort of very similar to how it would be in real life, where you might have a weaker club with not a lot of star players, which in this game, mechanically speaking, would be represented by low ability scores. But if you do well, if you just do okay, you'll do as well as a better team that did very well, because people are like, we didn't expect much from their club because they're ranked D, but wow, they're doing pretty good. So now they're flying through the ranks much higher than they were before. And of course, you'll get better as the game goes on, because you're going to get higher ranked football players and so on and so forth. But of course, another interesting thing, the higher up on the results table and the rankings that you get, the harder it is to stay at that point, which is, again, another thing that would be very similar to real life in any kind of sport, really. So the higher you are, the more people that are aiming for you to try to knock you back down, and you're in the spotlight more. So there's a lot of interesting things. You can fire your manager. You might have to deal with injuries, the way that the whole die color matching system works, and how the EIK die works, which is like, well, I might have to deal with this event, might have to deal with an injury, which isn't the end of the world, but is a setback for you. So you have to really take that into consideration. So you just have all these different things going on, but at the core of it, it's a simple game to learn and to play, and very accessible to people who either really enjoy football or would really like a resource management and sort of hand management game, and even some spatial elements. And like a game with like bright visuals and just looks like a very clean and polished game. So you don't even have to like anything about football to still be open to this game and probably enjoy yourself. So if you feel like you fall into any of those categories, you should definitely check out the official Kickstarter project page. There will be a link up in the top corner of your screen as well as down in the description section underneath this video. Those links will take you to the page. You can find out more information and hopefully consider backing the project. That is the football game from London Board Game Company. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting our sponsors. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.